Welcome back to another edition of Prime Sports World coming to you on a hump day. And I had originally planned on doing the AFC North during this particular show, but then the NFL continues to have news and things continue to get changed. So instead of doing the AFC North, we're going to do the NFC East for obvious reasons when it comes to that Carson Wentz trade that went down earlier this morning / afternoon, depending on where you live. Thank you very much for joining us here at Prime Sports World. I'm David Huffman. Right there is Mr. TJ Hopkins. And if you're looking for consistent content on Facebook or YouTube now, Prime Sports World is a pretty good place to be. We go live 4 or 5 times a week, bringing the most up-to-date content, including tomorrow. We're going to do What's Next with the AFC East. Then me and TJ are going to bring you the crossover on Friday as a staple of our Friday content. Also, I want to thank our friends over there at Root Bear for sponsoring us here at Prime Sports World. Let your presence be felt. Go ahead and check out their summer collection. I've got a link to their website and our Facebook page, along with the NFL Supreme Facebook page as well. TJ, I know you're going through stuff with the Bulls, not exactly. Oh, they're winning now. Good for us. But what do you think about the NFC East? And then we're going to get to that Carson Wentz trade here in a minute.
What do I think about the NFC
as
East?
a whole.
Well, I think it's a wide open division. Again, Dallas. It goes to my disappointment in the Dallas Cowboys, like how they are clearly head and shoulders on paper the most talented team in this division, and the fact that they don't run away with it is kind of sad. You also like it's not kind of sad. It's very sad. It is horrible that on paper you have the most talented roster and you can't run away with this division, right? Like there shouldn't be.
They're not even like those other 3 teams in this division aren't even on the same stratosphere.
No, God no, not even close. And
the fact that the Eagles were like a playoff team is sort of a miracle. Like they have the best quarterback in the division by far. Even with what happened today.
Like bro, that's my point, bro. Like the NFC East should not be producing 2 teams for the playoffs. Right? And
No.
I don't know if that's more of a slight to the rest of the NFC or a slight to the Eagles because they can only do what they did, right? Like it's not their fault that they limped their way into the playoffs into a wild card spot, But
yeah, I mean they can only really. I mean it's not their fault. Like if no one else in the NFC wants to step up and be a playoff team, this is what happens.
Because of the inconsistencies of Dak Prescott, because of Jerry Jones' inability to not be Jerry Jones and get out of his own way. This is what we get. Like you rolled Zeke Elliott so hard those first, what would you say, 3.5 years of his
he led the league in
career,
touches for like the first 4 years.
right? Like you rolled him so hard, and now you're mad that he's the way that he is. Like, well, you gave him the ball 250, 300 times over the course of 3 years. Like those touches add up. Like that's math. Like that's what happens. You give a running back a lot of carries, he deteriorates pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean especially the kind of pounding that he was taking. So let's move on for the first team in this division that we want to talk about. The Washington Commanders. Obviously, what's next for them? Obviously, the Carson Wentz trade that went down this morning / afternoon. It's for a package of draft picks. I've heard it's two. Just hold on. It says Commanders 3rd round picks in 2022 and 23. That 2023 3rd round pick can become a 2nd rounder if Wentz plays 70% of Washington snaps. The teams also swapped 2nd rounders in 2022. So let's move on from 47 to 42. Washington will pay the full $28 million due. So Tampa Colts are completely off the hook for his salary. Apparently, the Commanders also offered 3 first-round picks to the Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson, before he opted to go trade him to Seattle or to Denver, obviously. What do we make of this trade, and like, what do you like? Where did these 2 teams go? Like, well, we kind of did the Colts already. So let's talk about both of these teams real quick, and then we kind of.
It goes back to what I was saying about the division. The division's wide open. Like Dallas does not have the they don't have the division in the headlock like they think they do. So if I'm Washington, and you saw Washington this past season, there are a couple games where it's like if we had better quarterback play here or there, it's us in the playoffs and not Philly.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
have they they have the better defense. They have one of the best defenses in the league. Now they got
well, their defense
humbled.
struggled this.
They got humbled this past season because all they were the talk of the town. They were the talk of the league like the year they went to the playoffs and gave Tom Brady all he could handle. Right? Like all they fell into that trap. You feel me? Like all they hear is they read the plush clip and it's like that front because we did it too. That front seven in Washington, I wouldn't want to block those boys for 4 quarters, right? You read into that, other teams see that you read into it. It's like okay, they think they bad. They think they can't get blocked. Okay, we gonna show them we gonna show them. And that's what happened. Like they got humbled. Fitzpatrick, getting his hip smashed definitely didn't hurt because Taylor Heineke wasn't even starting the game. Like he wasn't even starting the starting quarterback at the start of the season.
No, I
So
mean, they had no plans. I mean, I know they paid him after that one playoff game, but he
right.
was for sure going to be their backup quarterback.
So and them trading for Carson Wentz, obviously, that tells them that Taylor Heineke, he ain't. We all knew that. Like he's not the guy. Like he is not your franchise quarterback. He's what he did for them during that little playoff run. Like that's what he did. That's what he is. Like he's a serviceable backup. He can come in, spell Carson Wentz for 3 or 4 games, but anything other than that,
Yeah, he had like the lowest completion percentage of any quarterback that started like so many games last season. And yeah, quarterback was obviously a big Washington or the Commanders now. Like I got so used to calling them football team. Now I'm gonna have to switch calling them the damn Commanders, which I still don't love this name. For Washington, this is a slam dunk. I mean, you didn't have to give him a first round pick. Carson Wentz is a good band aid, and you even could still take a quarterback in the first round if you wanted to. I don't think they will because I think they have other needs like the offensive line. This is a pretty deep offensive line draft. So now if you can take quarterback off your board because you were able to get 2 third-round picks for Carson Wentz, that's pretty good value. And for the Colts, I mean, you literally just traded for basically 2 first-round picks for this guy, and now you could only get back 2/3 and maybe one that becomes a second-round pick. That is not what the kind of value. I'm honestly shocked that they even trade. Like I would if I was the Colts, I would have been like, you know what, we'll just roll and see what happens.
Right, and they came out with a report. I think it was Bleacher Report. They came out and said that Irsay, the Colts were frustrated with Carson Wentz. Well, Jim Irsay is also frustrated with Frank Reich. Like, so this is the Colts are they're tail spinning right now. So the owner is mad at the head coach. The head coach is mad at the quarterback. Right, like. Darius, now you're frustrating Darius Leonard. This is Darius Leonard's 5th year.
Yeah.
He's had 5 quarterbacks. He's had 5 different quarterbacks in 5 years. That's not a recipe for success in a winnable division. You're in a more winnable division than Washington is.
It's true. I mean, they could easily have won the division. They had, basically fumbled a bunch of games away and made bad decisions down the stretch of certain games, not lost that Jacksonville Jaguar game.
And
but
I don't know what kind
I am not sure what the Colts. I'm not sure what they do at quarterback now. I've heard a lot of rumors that's going to be
Jimmy G.
No, I actually think Marcus or Mitch Trubisky makes a lot more sense than Jimmy G. That's just my honest opinion. If I was the Colts, I'm not sure I would want to give up assets because you'd probably have to give up a 3rd-round pick. Is that really an upgrade over Carson Wentz? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I heard Jimmy G. I'm with you on that note. Like, is that really a upgrade over Carson Wentz? Like the Colts, the 49ers are willing to part ways with Jimmy G for a reason, and this is a guy who's taken them to multiple NFC championships and a Super Bowl.
And a Super Bowl.
Right, and a Super Bowl. Like, say what you want about Jimmy G, he was the quarterback of those teams. The first time we did a mock draft, I read before all this went down that the Colts would go Desmond Ridder in the 2nd round, like early second. I think 41st overall.
So they have the 42nd pick now. They had 47
at the before the trade.
Yeah.
So 47. They go Carson Wentz. I mean, they go Desmond Ridder in the 2nd round. Obviously, that changes, right?
That's for sure. That's for
Or
sure.
maybe not. Like it all depends on if you're the coach, and we already know Frank Irsay is frustrated with Frank Wright. Frank Wright he's on the hot seat. It's official now. Frank Wright's on the hot seat. So if you, which is kind of, I'm with you again. Like why would my job is on the line, and if we go rookie, you want me to entrust my future, my coaching future, to a rookie?
I mean,
That's tough.
that's the problem that we had in Chicago, basically, where we had a coach who was sort of on his way out, but also had to develop a quarterback and try to win games to save his job. You never want to put a head coach in that kind of position when they have to not only groom a young player, but also win games to save their job. Never goes well.
Never.
My honest opinion, I think they're going to reach out to Mr. Trubisky. I think they're going to sign Mr. Trubisky. This is a team that wants to run the football. I think they're going
He's been
to.
linked to New York.
I mean, he's going to be linked to a bunch of places because he's a starting caliber quarterback. He sat 1 year under Buffalo. Maybe people think that Josh Allen maybe rubbed off on him a little bit, but I mean, Josh Allen, Mitch Trubisky has never thrown a pick six. I think he's the only starter quarterback in the NFL,
starter.
right? What?
Right now, he's the only starting quarterback right now who's never thrown a pick six. Which I think that I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I had to think about it, but I guess that's a real thing.
I'm like,
but I mean, if I'm the Colts, I mean, I'm gonna roll the dice with Trubisky. I mean, I think he gives you the best chance at how to give up assets. I mean, I'm not giving up a third round pick to get Jimmy Garoppolo. I just acquired that third round pick to get rid of Carson Wentz. It doesn't make any sense. I don't my personal opinion, none of that. I don't understand this on the Colts side at all. Like, if you're a team that wants to win games and you decide to trade away your starting quarterback, make it make sense.
So back to
with nobody there to be the heir apparent, like there's nobody there.
Back to Washington, like obviously, like your priority now is offensive line. All right, I gotta protect Carson Wentz, who has an injury history, and part of that was because he was behind some bad offensive lines in Philly. He got killed in Philly, and he got nicked a little bit last year, and the Colts arguably have the best line in all of football. So I think last year was more so of him trying to like still say like, yo, I'm Carson Wentz. I got to the league this way. I was an MVP candidate playing this way. You know, people don't they don't remember that, right? Like Carson Wentz doesn't tear his ACL. 3 weeks later, he's named MVP. That was going to happen.
Probably.
They gave it to Tom Brady by default because Carson Wentz is hurt.
So I think this is for Washington a really good trade. Let's talk about their other questions they got going on here. Secondary questions, the kind of their defensive regression from last year to this year. The secondary is kind of always been a mess. I think they were able to hide it a lot because they had good front seven. I mean,
yes.
They William Jackson III had a pretty good season last year. Landon Collins played pretty well, but the rest of the secondary is kind of
getting up there.
Landon Collins. I mean, he's not even 30. I don't think yet. No? Yeah, he's only 28.
Okay, let me.
He's just been in the league forever.
Yeah, I'm gonna be respectful to him. That's my fault.
William Jackson III is only 29 too. I mean, these guys are pretty young.
Okay. Well, I was like on defense. The name their calling card is their front seven. Right? They have a bunch of guys where you cannot block them 1-on-1 unless your left tackle's name is Trent Williams. Like, and I'm being real. Like, no one wants to block Jonathan Allen 1-on-1. No one wants to block Montez Sweat 1-on-1. What's the young gun that got hurt? Chase Young. No one wants to block those dudes 1-on-1, bro. But after that, if you can buy your quarterback enough time, if they ain't getting home, that defense can get got, as we saw. The linebacking play is suspect. You know, it's hit or miss. I think they run a 3-4, so they're rushing. They run a 4-3. So
yeah, their linebackers are Cole Holcomb, Jamin Davis,
who's solid.
Landon Collins technically plays. He's part of this another corner. David Mayo is on this too. John Bostic's a free agent, who's another guy who's played linebacker for them.
And what's his name? They still got what's his name? Matt Ioannidis. Is he still there?
I don't see him on their roster. Oh yeah. He's still there. He's the backup tackle.
So Corey Holcomb, is it Corey or Cole?
Cole.
Cole. like that's just like I mean he's a solid linebacker. You know, like he's
Fifth
I'm not
round
trying
pick
to
out of North Carolina.
and has turned
6'1",
into
240.
like he's turned into a serviceable linebacker, right? Like out of the fifth round. But you need more. You're basically asking Landon Collins, who's a safety, to drop down in the box and basically be a sub linebacker like the Chiefs asked Honey Badger, right? So there's a bunch of directions that that Washington can go in. Like, do you address offense? Do you address the O line, or do you get your defense some help? Because you need linebackers and you need
So,
DBs.
so I guess it depends on who's there at 11. Like, let's say Charles
So
Cross. For some reason, Charles Cross. I don't think there's a fathom of a chance that he makes it to 11. But let's just say Charles Cross is there, or the kid from North Dakota, Northern Iowa, who's now being treated as like a top 10 pick.
Penning,
Uh,
Trevor Penning,
yeah, Trevor Penning.
Penning.
Yeah, so, like if those guys are still there at 11, which I actually don't think either of them will be. I mean, that's an interesting decision. And then Devin Lloyd, who's going to do it all linebacker. If
Like
Derek
that,
Stingley's
okay,
still
like that
there,
would be perfect. Okay, so that's my question. Like, all right, they pick 11. Let's say you got Cross, Lloyd, and Sauce Gardner all there at 11.
Sauce Gardner has no chance. Zero, zero, literally no. He might be a top 5 pick.
Crazier things have happened. I'm just saying. Just hey, and it's a hypothetical. Please, just entertain me. It's a hypothetical.
I think it's more realistic to have Derek Stingley there at 11 than Sauce Gardner.
But
I'm telling you,
okay,
Sauce
Derek
Gardner is going
Stingley,
to be.
fine. Derek Stingley Jr.,
I'm
fine.
going Charles Cross. I think
You
Charles
going
Cross
Charles
gives
Cross
you more immediate value now.
over Devin Lloyd and Stingley?
Yeah, because you have a second round pick linebacker.
Okay. I would also definitely prioritize re-signing Brandon Scherf.
Yeah.
Like I would absolutely have to do that.
They
That's one of
decided not to
those.
franchise tag him, so I'm pretty sure he was playing on the franchise tag last. So I think he was too expensive to franchise tag past season.
And he's
Yeah,
and
so
he's
he played
30
on the
years
franchise
old.
tag last 2 years.
So if they tag him, wait. So can he get tagged? He can get tagged again,
He
right?
can, but they didn't already. The date's already passed.
Oh
So
yeah.
I highly doubt. I mean, he's missed 22 games over 4 years. So, yeah, they didn't franchise tag him. So yeah,
Like
there you
it
go.
says, like games played. Like every game he has played, he started. He's played 89 games. He started 89 games.
Yeah, I mean he's an elite guard. He might be one of the better ones.
And don't get talked about.
I
Like
mean,
doesn't get talked about.
I guess that's. And
So
yeah, they have. I mean, they're also going to have the guy you just talked about, Matt Ioannidis, is going to be a free agent
yeah.
as well. Potential cap casualty. They could potentially cut him and save a bunch of money. This is not a team that's overly cap strong, so. But yeah, I think they have a couple different ways they can go with the draft. They have a couple different things in the free agency, but they did what they needed to do. They had one major concern going into the season. They didn't have anybody they could trust as starting quarterback. They've in theory they've solved that problem.
Okay, so answer this: is it also a bit of like? I mean, obviously it's a bad thing, but when you're a team like Washington, where you have literally holes and questions everywhere, how do you pick the top priority? Because like they need O line help, they need secondary help, they need linebacking help, they need help at wide receiver because Terry McLaurin can't do it all by himself.
Well,
And
I honestly think the number one priority should for sure be offensive line because that makes everyone else's life. It means defense maybe quarterback's gonna have more time to throw the football, which not just sends wider Terry McLaurin and the other wide receivers. They have some other weapons on the team that I actually do like kind of a bit. Um,
they didn't they trade for
I
somebody from
like Cam Smith. I
Carolina?
like Curtis Samuel. I like DeAndre
There we
Carter.
go.
Like
That's what they
I
traded for.
actually like some of their weapons on the outside. Antonio Gannon Golden was somebody that you were high on when he was coming into the
I
draft
was.
process.
I thought he was gonna get because he provides them with something that they need. Like he's a big dude. He's a big body receiver, and I was hoping he would get more playing time. Like at least be a legitimate red zone threat. Like how tall is? Ain't he like 6'5", 6'4"?
6'4", 220.
Like that's a legitimate red zone threat, bro. Like jump ball, hey, bro, go get it. So like utilize that. Like, and I'm kind of obsessed with those rhythms.
Yes,
Um,
I mean, offensive line is easy. Because, and then not to mention, if your offense is on the field more, your defense is going to play better because they're more rested. Have been like it's the offensive line has got to be the priority. I wouldn't be also shocked if maybe they went for sort of like an heir apparent to Carson Wentz at some point in this draft. I don't think it'll be in the first 2 rounds, but maybe there's somebody later that you get. I don't think Sam Howell's still going to be there. I don't really. Maybe the kid from Montana might still be there, and like or Nevada,
bro,
whichever one
if
Carson Strong goes to, whatever his name is.
yeah, if I think that's Nevada.
Yeah,
If Sam Howell is a first round pick, that GM needs to be drug tested and fired.
Let's move on from this team. We got another team in the NFC East. We got the New York Giants. Let's talk about what's next for them. So they got a new head coach, Brian Daboll. They got a new GM, Joe Simone. We got big questions about Daniel Jones' future, Saquon Barkley, and they have 2 picks in the top 10. And their notable free agents are there on the screen. Devontae Booker, who spelled Saquon Barkley for most of the season, Real Preppers, and Nate Solder, who's been a colossal disappointment. And I don't imagine he'll like.
Okay. Well, again, the 2 top 10 picks. That's from the Justin Fields trade. And again, let me just reiterate, yeah, I was wrong about Daniel Jones. I thought once they got him some more talent and whatnot and everything that he would be better. Getting Saquon Barkley back would help a little bit. Signing Kenny Galladay in the off season, thought that would help because he allows guys like Darius Slayton to slide back to their natural slot on the receiving core. Yeah, none of that. None of that. None of that. Yeah, none of
Well,
that
Kenny
worked.
Galladay couldn't stay on the field, so and we don't really know how that experiment would have worked if Kenny Galladay had stayed healthy. But Kenny Galladay scored as many touchdowns as you or I.
And he got paid like way more money
Gangbusters.
than we did.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, obviously.
and he got paid way more money than we did for it, and that's not cool. Not cool, America.
But they brought. I think they. So it sounds like Daniel Jones is going to be the quarterback at least for this season. And they're gonna roll with him, and they're gonna hope that Brian Daboll's system can do what for Daniel Jones because he is a big body quarterback. He is athletic. If you can get a third out of Daniel Jones of what he was able to turn Josh Allen in within a couple seasons, I mean, this is as we mentioned before. This is a division that's very winnable. Even if the Giants are on paper the worst team in this division, they could easily fix things. They have 2 top 10 picks. They could usually address those with both offensive lines. They have full complement of other draft picks, and they have a bunch of cap space.
They have a ton of cap space, and it's New York, right? Like it's you want to get your name out there. You want to know, like just this, like it's the number one media capital in the world. You want to you want to get your name out there. You want to make a name for yourself. Go to New York.
Yeah, they have 9 overall draft picks in this draft. Evan Ingram's a free agent too. I imagine they'll let him walk. Lorenzo Carter.
They're probably gonna let him walk. They're probably gonna let Nate Soldier walk.
Schilder's for sure gonna walk. Like they're not about to resign. I would be shocked if he was still on the team.
They fielded calls for Saquon Barkley, which is also unfortunate. He's been hurt.
Yeah,
like
he's elite. He's an elite running back still when he's healthy. But if I was the Giants, I would be aggressively fielding calls for him. If there is a team that's willing to give you even a 2nd-round pick for Saquon Barkley, win it.
You take it. Take it. And
like if they're willing to give me a third this year and a third next year, yeah, I'm doing it. I can re-sign Devontae Booker and he'll give me 3/4 of what Saquon Barkley gave me and more available stay on the football team.
Facts.
And not to mention, this is the Giants team. We can talk all we want about how winnable this division is. It ain't that winnable for the Giants.
It ain't. It's not. It's not.
I feel bad for our colleague Christian Simpson here, who's a Giants fan, but this is not a team that's.
And you kind of saw it. You kind of saw it in games, like that Washington game, that Monday night Washington game. Like they had that game. I still think they got hosed. Like I thought that was a horrible call. That Buddy timed the snap. What's his name? Used to play for the Jets. Leonard Williams. Yeah. I thought he timed that snap perfectly, And the refs basically said the only reason you were able to block that kick or alter that kick is because you had to be offside. Like that's the only way. Like no, like that's a perfectly timed snap. Like that's as textbook gets when you want to explain and show how to block a kick. That's how or alter a kick, just like that. But that's just one game out of 17, right? Like they weren't one game out of anything. Like they
No,
were.
they had 4 wins last season. And yeah, they weren't competitive in hardly any. So let's talk about their drafting strategy. So if you were the Giants, what would you be trying to
Yeah.
do with your first? Like you have 2 picks in the top 10. What do you want to address with those picks? Are you going offensive line, offensive line? Are you going to go to offensive line corner? Because James Bradbury could be a cap casualty.
Okay, if they let James Bradbury walk, then they deserve what's coming to them. And I am 100% serious on that. Like, if obviously
I'm going
I
tackle
go
with that first pick, no matter what happens.
I'm going
I'm taking
line first.
Aquanu out of NC State. I'm taking Charles Cross. I'm taking Evan Neal. Whichever one of those 3
I'm
guys are still available at 5 or whatever their pick is.
I'm going offensive line first,
Or 6. I think they pick at 6.
and if I go and with my second first round pick, that's the pick I use to see. All right, what's left? What's there? What's here? What are the two? There are 2 top 10 picks, right?
They
So
got 5 and 7. They got 5 and 7.
5 and 7. Oh yeah. So if they go offensive line, cool. No problem with that whatsoever. That's obvious. That's probably what they should do. Probably what they should do, right? Imagine if they're able to get uh big homie out of NC State
Aquanu.
and Charles Cross at 7.
Yeah, but they have Andrew Thomas. I mean, if they're gonna do that, probably should address the interior. But it almost feels too early for the dude out of Iowa. He's
Trevor.
flipped.
What's his name?
Uh, Linderbaum, Tyler
Linderbaum.
Linderbaum. Yeah, Linderbaum. He's slipped a little bit in
I
draft boards.
would,
You
I
look
would
at the latest mock draft.
100%.
He's slipped a little bit. It seems a little early to take a center. I could
Because Nate
honestly see them taking
Solder,
like Sauce Gardner at 7.
that'd be nasty. I would go. What's his pick? Yeah, because what's Andrew Thomas is your left tackle. He's your left tackle, right? So
Right
you're
tackle.
letting
I mean, I would move. He hasn't been really all that good at left tackle, so I probably swing him into right tackle. And so whoever I draft is basically replacing Nate Solder. And it's going to be
Well,
either the kid from NC State or Charles Cross, whoever one of those guys are still available.
well,
Because
I'm not gonna. I mean, like it's easy to say he hasn't been that good. You consider other guys who have been rookie tackles and like Rashawn Slater, like when he can hold his own against a guy like Myles Garrett, and you look, and if you're a Giants fan and you see Andrew Thomas, and he's like, yo, Myles Garrett would annihilate
yeah,
Andrew
yeah,
Thomas.
yeah. I mean, I would. I mean, obviously, maybe for a couple games you have Andrew Thomas continue to play left tackle, but whoever they draft at 5 is going to be the left tackle. Andrew Thomas is going to be swung over to the right tackle. That's
I
just the way
would
it's going to
go.
go.
I would go tackle. Maybe I would go tackle and guard, but I don't know how high. I don't know if they got any top. I don't know if they got any guards that's top 10 worthy.
None of them are really. The kid from Texas A&M. His name is escaping me now. It was a Kenyon.
I think I know what
Kenyon.
you're talking about. But I like what you first said. Ekonwu and Sauce Gardner at 7. Like I think that'll make a lot of Giants fans happy.
Kenyon Green, guys. He's the highest rated.
I think that will make a lot of Giants fans happy. I got to see how Brian Daboll. Like I gotta see what he wants to do because again, and I'm hoping him and they got a new GM too.
Yeah,
New GM.
his name's right there on the screen. It's Joe.
Oh, Joe Schoen. Sorry, I literally looked right past that. I'm hoping Dayball and Joe Schoen are literally working together because we've seen instances where head coach and GMs, like the head coach wants one guy, the GM wants another guy. We literally just saw that in Miami, and they clashed that way.
Well, he's coming from the Bills. He was the assistant general manager at the Bills, so I imagine.
I'm hoping.
And his last name is actually pronounced.
Say it again.
Joe Shane.
Shane. Oh, that's clever. I don't like. It's obviously you're rebuilding. If you're the Giants, this is a new era again. The Joe Judge era did not end the way you wanted to. He's kicking players, and you can't have that. Like you
And
can't.
the what Dave Gettleman era didn't exactly go very well either. So
Dave Gettleman retired, so he couldn't get fired. Like no, brother, like, you
yeah,
like you're
he
not
allowed to
saving
say
face
himself
the
so
way you
embarrassed
think you
when he
are.
retired. And yeah,
Right, 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 right.
a Daniel Jones draft pick is going to go down in one of the worst first round picks ever.
Yeah.
Unless somehow turns like some miracle turns around. Yeah, this is going to probably be a long season for Giants fans. I wouldn't be optimistic if I was them. Let's move on from there to the Philadelphia Eagles. Um, we got question marks kind of at Jalen Hurts. We got question marks at wide receiver outside of Devontae Smith. They have an aging defense, including Fletcher Cox, who's over 30. But the promising part about the Philadelphia Eagles is that they have 3 first-round picks in this year's draft. The notable free agents are Anthony Harris, Rodney McLeod, and Derek Barnett, who was essential when they won the they have some other guys that are free agents as well, but none of them are worthy. I know what Jason Kelsey is probably going to retire if he hasn't done it already. I believe he's free.
Yeah. So what's his name? Howie Roseman. That's what,
Ryan Kerrigan, Steven Nelson.
okay. Howie Roseman has came out and said that Justin Fields is our guy. Yeah, yeah, woo woo.
Jalen
But
Hurts.
sorry, Jalen Hurts is your guy. All that good stuff. Yet you fielded calls or you offered Seattle some stuff for a guy that does literally everything better than Jalen Hurts and Russell Wilson. So for Harry Roseman to say you're not trading Jalen Hurts, he's our guy, yeah yeah woo woo. Howie, talking outside of your mouth there, bud. Like
Well, I would hope that Jalen Hurts have an understanding that this is the National Football League, and
I ain't trying to hear that.
Gardner Minshew is currently your backup for a reason. So like if
And,
you don't
no, like
if you
I know that I'm sure Jalen Hurts understands that yo, this is a business, not a business.
I mean,
It's
he experienced this business while he was in college before he even got to the National Football League.
Hey, no, you ain't say that right. You ain't say that right. This ain't a business. This is a business. BIDNESS. This is a business. This here is a business, right? Jalen Hurts, clock's ticking, bro. Unfortunately, and already, clock's ticking.
I mean,
And it's not.
he's been better than even I really anticipated. To be honest with
And I get that, like him leading them to a playoff appearance, 100% helps his case. It absolutely does, and it does, right? But it's the inability of the franchise to do like they're doing to him. This what they did to Carson Wentz the latter part of his tenure in Philly. No help at receiver, right? JJ Arcega-Whiteside bust. Like
you. I
Philly
mean, Jalen
fans,
Rieger. I mean,
bro. Thank you.
Philadelphia Eagles fans are so upset with Jalen Rieger. They posted like fake Instagram posts about how he like offered them money to bet on their games.
Like that's bad. That's bad, right?
Not
Like
ideal.
take not ideal at all, right? Like your top, like you're relying on no, and he's a fine player. He's a hell of a story. He's what you make. He's what they make movies out of. Greg Ward, college quarterback turned receiver, and damn it, has he not been serviceable ever since he's been in Philly? Mostly because that's all they had to work with, right? Same thing with guys like what's Boston Scott?
Yep. Wes Watkins too. I mean,
Quez
this guy was
Watkins, right?
not a highly regarded guy who's been pretty productive for them last season. 6th-round pick out of 2020, 6th-round pick, round 200. He has probably more catches than Jalen Rieger does for NFL career. And I mean, they
Like,
do have a really good Dallas Goedert's an excellent tight end. Like really a good
right?
tight end. Lane Johnson might be one of the best right tackles in the league.
You chose Dallas Goedert over Zach Ertz. No power. Hey, more power to you. I'm not knocking that at all. Like Dallas Goddard is clearly the future. He can't really get. He can't really what's it called it, develop and evolve like you how you want him to, if Zach Ertz is still there taking reps from him. So
Yep.
Dallas Goddard, you're tight end one. You're the tight end of the future from here on out. This is yours. Hold it down. But you need more. Like we saw that playoff game against the Buccaneers, and they literally waited till the game was basically over, blown out, to target Devontae Smith and him in one-on-one coverage. And it's like you had 3.5 quarters to see that and figure that out, but you didn't do it. Like you got down so big to the point where it's like, let's just try some stuff now.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
Additionally, their running back core actually I like a lot. Like Miles Sanders and Kevin Gainwell is a pretty good 1-2 punch. I don't think they're going to bring back Boston Scott. I would be shocked if they brought back Jordan Howard. But when it comes to the defense, I mean, Brandon Graham's 33 years old. Fletcher Cox is 31. Like, this is not a young defense anymore. Even Darius Slay, who's their best corner, and he's got to be pushing 32 now. I mean, he's been in the National Football League feels like forever. Yeah, he's 31. Darius Slay's 31. So, I mean, this is not a young defense by any stretch of the imagination. Both their starting safeties are free agents. Anthony Harris had kind of a down season by his own standards. He's over 30. Rodney McLeod is over 30 and also a free agent. Like, this is not a young defense. Javon Hargrave actually lost. He's probably the future, even though he's 29 years old. Just celebrated a birthday a couple weeks ago. Yeah, he got drafted in 2016.
So, I mean, like, if you're Philly, I think what they want to, no, what's his name? The coach they hired, and like the coach they hired, like that was a question mark. Like that was a question mark decision. It's like who? Nick Safarian?
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, Nick Sirianni. Yeah,
Sirianni. So I think now it's like any young offensive team, because they're not young defensively, they're young on offense. What kind of team do you want to be? You got to cater to Jalen Hurts' strengths. And if I'm the Eagles and I'm Sirianni, like, yeah, it's cool that you're most effective in rollout situations, but at some the tape's out. Teams want you to be teams are going to try to make you a pocket passer. You got to get better in pass. Like, you got to get better at passing the pocket. Like, you have to get better, right? Because we see Russell as he's gotten older and his athleticism has, started to leave him a little bit. Guess what Russ can do that he couldn't do in his early years? Russ can stand in the pocket,
make decisions,
and make.
So before we move on to Dallas, so these three first round picks, they're both between 19 and 15. They have basically 2 picks in a row, and then there's like a pick in between them. They have another one. So I think they have 15, 16. If you're the Eagles, how would you address 3 first round picks? What would you be going after better this for next season? You're not going to go quarterback.
If I'm not going quarterback, corner. I'm going corner. I'm going edge rusher. Because like you said, Fletcher Cox getting up there. Derek Barnett is what, 33? No.
Derek Barnett is a free agent anyways, but he's got to be pushing 30, not already there. Oh, he's only 25. Okay. Actually, Derek Barnett's.
And if you feel strong about that guy,
it's weird. So Javon Hargrave was drafted in 2016. He is 29 years old. Derek Barnett was drafted in 2017. 25.
And he's 25.
Something's missing.
That like Javon Hargrave probably had to stay in college for a little bit, transfer, and he was probably in school before the transfer rule got changed to the point where if you transfer to a school you can play right away. He probably had to sit out a couple years, either that or he's probably a red shirt or a medical red shirt, something like that.
I think he may have played in the Canadian Football League for a hot minute before I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Well, anyways, it's not here. It's in here.
Yeah, I go corner and edge rusher with my first 2 picks, and then I draft the heir apparent to Jason Kelsey on the line. That's
Yeah,
what I would do.
I go wide receiver. I think you can adjust corner a little bit later. This is a pretty deep corner draft. And it's yeah, you probably go edge rusher, tackle. Just because I think Jordan Malata is probably going to probably retire because the guy just can't stay healthy. And then Jason Kelsey, maybe if Linderbaum's still there, maybe I think about doing that instead of taking some kind of left tackle. Then I'm for sure doing wide receiver. Devontae Smith needs some help. I do really like the kid out of Arkansas, even though he had a miserable but I expect him to show out at pro day. Moving on from them, the Eagles, we got the final team here in the NFC East. We got the Dallas Cowboys. First thing we got to talk about is cap casualties and aging offensive line. And then Trayvon Diggs, you think he can keep up this level of production when it comes to the interceptions, not how many yards he was giving up, because he also gave up he had the most picks in the National Football League.
He gave up over
He
1,000
also
yards.
gave up more yards than any corner in the National Football League as well. Notable free agents: Keanu O'Neal, Michael Gallup, rumors are that they're close to an extension already. Leighton Vander Esch, who's been injured a little bit, and Connor Williams has been a staple of this offensive line for a few years. They have some other guys that are also noteworthy as free agents, but
Well,
so the other guys, Cedric Wilson. I don't know if I mentioned Cedric Wilson, that other wide receiver on this team, and then Carlos Watkins, defensive end.
mm-hmm.
That's about it. Javon Curse. Randy Gregory is also a free agent, outside linebacker. So let's talk about the Cowboys.
Yeah. Most disappointing team in the division. All right. Most disappointing team in the division. You're losing Amari Cooper because you don't think he's worth $20 million. You're gonna try and trade him away.
Dak Prescott just restructured. I wonder if that restructure has changed.
I don't think it's changed much because you're still fielding calls for Amari Cooper, and if you don't get a call that you like, you're already set on him not coming back or not keeping him, so you're gonna cut him. All right, and then I don't see why they would cut him unless you're that confident in CeeDee Lamb and being wide receiver number one. Right, like you rather go with Michael Gallup, who's coming off an ACL tear, and CeeDee Lamb than keeping Amari Cooper and pairing him with CeeDee Lamb, and then finding somebody to fill in the blank at slot. Right. Obviously, like one of the players that you hate to see this happen to was Leighton Vander Esch. He was also a promising start. Then the neck injuries came in, and then if I'm Leighton Vander Esch, I'm having that thought. Like I'm heavily having that thought because that's my neck. I lose my neck, I lose the rest of me. Like I'm young, right? I'm young. I got a whole life ahead of me. Right? What good is that life? I can't walk.
Yeah,
Period.
I mean, the neck injuries are no joke. He's already 26. He celebrated his 26th birthday, and the guy he's made more money than most people will ever make in their lifetime already.
Right. So, and we saw them make had that conversation with Jalen Smith, right? Jalen Smith wasn't moving how he was when obviously Jalen Smith was a first round pick had he not tore the ACL, right? Let's not forget that. And then he works his ass off to come back, and over the years the grind just got to him. He was a step slower. He missed tackles that he used to make.
He also had a considerable nerve damage, and I'm not really sure. I don't really know exactly what that entails. I never torn my ACL, so I don't really know exactly the nerve damage stuff. Something gives them longer to recover than all the other stuff. He didn't have a traditional ACL tear. It was some other damage to his that he did that was not. That was career change.
Like Keanu Neal, kind of aged backwards, right? Like he went from safety to linebacker. Bro, that's age. Like you want to extend your career, not shorten it. But the reason he had to do that is because his range of like his coverage skills
Yeah, well,
started lacking,
wasn't good. Yeah,
right? Like your ass like he can't cover the deep third like he used to. So okay, I'm gonna be a linebacker and I'm gonna cover this finite area, this finite zone. Connor Williams has laughably, and I'm saying that respectfully, laughably been called the weak link of the offensive line that used to be so damn strong. Like he's taking the role of Doug Free. Remember how
yeah,
Doug Free used to get?
yeah, yeah. I
And what's
do.
crazy is Doug Free was never as bad as folks made him out to be. Right? Like when
No,
you're
but
weak
I
link,
mean, when you're basically playing an offensive line that has loaded with Hall of Famers, like, yeah, you're gonna be the weak link.
you're gonna be the weak link, and it's not even a bad thing, bro. Like it's just like okay, like out of these great players, I happen to be just talent wise, I happen to be the worst one. No ifs, but like I'm not giving up sacks. Connor Williams is getting up. He's giving up sacks. He's getting beat.
Yeah, he hasn't played well in like 2 seasons, so I think they'll be very fortunate to move away from him. I mean, Tyron Smith can't really stay healthy. When he does stay healthy,
That's another one.
he's not
That's
exactly the
another
offensive
one.
lineman that he was. So, the best left tackle in football at one point.
Right.
Zach
Like
Martin
that's
has still been really good. Layla Collins is still a good player. Tyler
right.
Biadasz has been a really good center too. I mean, this is not a this. I mean, if you could find some left tackle in the future and even trade Tyron Smith to another team, that
Like yeah, like
like
you
pick
might
up some
have to
draft
have that
capital
talk.
that way, like
You might have to pull you might have to pull Tyron Smith into that office like, hey man, we love you. You've done wonders for the Cowboys. When you retire, you're gonna be in the Ring of Honor, maybe, because that's Jerry
no,
Jones. Uh, I said maybe because that's Jerry Jones.
no,
Hey,
yeah, you won't be.
Jerry loves his kids. Jerry loves his kids. Jerry gonna put Tyron Smith in. I'm willing to bet money. Jerry Jones puts Tyron Smith into the Ring of Honor.
I would be more than shocked if that happened. Like he has like
Then
I know he's been excellent and a really good player, but I'm not even sure he's a Hall of Famer.
then prepare to be shocked because Jerry. Like one thing, Jerry gonna take care of his boys. It's gonna happen.
All right, I
Like,
mean,
it's gonna happen. I don't. What's the, like you asking? Can Dez keep up this productivity? So we're at a stage where yeah, the picks are impressive. 11 picks. That's impressive. Giving up over 1,000 yards, not impressive.
yeah, no,
So that
more yards than any other corner in the national.
so that means like I'm as much as you get me, I'm getting you. Not only that, I'm getting you more than you're getting me. And it is like like they picked 24th. Obviously, is another disappointing season. Every like Cowboy fans. Hey, I'm little secret. From two Bears fans. Just a little secret to ease in the stress in your life about the team that you love so dearly and so much. If you go in with no expectations, you
Yeah,
never get hurt.
yeah. They also
If,
have a decision to make on Dalton Schultz, Bobby Schultz's cousin.
no,
Dalton Schultz.
they
I
brought
think
him back.
did they franchise tag him?
They're bringing him back. Yes,
Okay, so yeah, he's a free agent too, but I imagine they franchise tag him. And so when it
they're
comes to
bringing him back.
their draft, I mean, I so when I was looking at the Pro Football Focus where they talk about the Dallas Cowboys offseason, they have them potentially taking Trevor Penning at 24, but now that he showed out at the combine, zero chance that he's going to be there. So I mean, they need a corner. They could use another wide receiver if they're going to move on from Amari Cooper.
I gotta get Michael Parsons some help because if DeMarcus Lawrence was a potential cap casualty, I gotta get that. I gotta get that guy some help.
Billy Cooker's free agent.
Who's a free agent?
Billy Cooker's
Oh,
also
yeah, Randy Gregory. You're probably not bringing him back. I gotta get Michael Parsons some help. Right, offensively, I think I'm fine. Like I'm. It all depends on what they do with
so
Amari Cooper.
looking at this is lines.com. They have them taking Devin Lloyd, linebacker out of Utah. And I love that 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 seems like a good. Like
That seems like a
that would
Jerry.
allow you to put Parsons outside linebacker permanently, and you could put Devin Lloyd in.
And I'm looking at this one right. I'm looking at this mock on USA Today. They got him taking Zion Johnson, the guard out of Boston College.
Okay, I mean that's another area you need. I mean, you have I feel like they have other holes that probably should be addressed before they deal with the offensive line situation. But I personally I really like that. That seems fine. Zion Johnson's a good player. He's out of Boston College, 6'3", 300 pounds. He has upside.
Now we also don't know what the situation is. Like again, they might try to trade up and get somebody. Like I don't know, right? But right now they're pegged at 24. Did the mock draft you read was it CBS?
No, this is from the line.com.
So CBS has been also taking Devin Lloyd at 24, right? Um, if you're, I think once Dallas, like and Jerry, because Jerry was quoted so many times saying it's like we're the Cowboys, Who wouldn't want to play for us? A lot of people,
Yeah.
actually.
If I found that Jerry Jones might be hard to actually play for and work with. So yeah, I imagine a lot of team players don't really want to deal with the pariah
And
that is the Dallas Cowboys.
the one thing that they tried to sweep under the rug was imagine what's going on in that coaching room now, right? And what's his name? Mike McCarthy. He feels the eyes staring at the back of his head, and it's four. Kellen Moore looking at him like, hey, if Jerry fire Mike, hey man, this might be my job. Like I might be the next coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I do think that there would be, and I mean, we were always super questionable about it. And if Izzy were on this show, he'd be trashing Mike McCarthy up and down, left and right. I mean, every now Izzy was being fired him all the time.
It ain't just Kellen Moore now, right?
Sean Payton now. I mean,
Sean Payton. Like they think it's Sean Payton just taking a year off.
They would still have to trade something for him in order to get him, because he's still under contract for like 3 more seasons. So not that it matters to the Dallas Cowboys. Give him flip him a third-round pick.
What's why is his name escaping me right now? The defensive coordinator.
Quinn.
Dan Quinn, right?
Yeah, Dan Quinn. Yeah, thank you.
So Dan Quinn also, right? So you got 2 hires in the building. You got 2 potential new hires in the building. Kellen Moore, Dan Quinn, and Sean Payton waiting. Like if you're willing to pay that price, and Jerry Jones has talked like openly about his football mortality or not just football mortality, his life, mortality the last 5, maybe 6 years, right? Jerry Jones has all but said, I want to see the Cowboys win another Super Bowl before I die. That's basically what he said. And I'm willing to pay whatever price I have to pay to see the Cowboys win a Super Bowl before I die.
And not to mention Sean Payton's always talked about how this is his dream job. But for this one season, I still think Dallas is the most talented team here in the NFC. We'll see how they end up handling the draft. We'll see how they end up handling cap casualties. I feel like the fans on the market think it's quieted a little bit, so I imagine they're going to find a way to restructure the deal and keep them. As for everything else, I have no idea. Like, do I think Trayvon Burke can keep up this contract? No. I think no corner has ever repeated that kind of production.
Because now they are like, again, tapes out. Get him on a double move. He's gonna bite on the first move.
And
that's
he'll get
the
burnt.
tape now, and he's gonna get burnt. You also need help at DB number 2. Who's DB number 2?
It's Anthony Brown currently.
Oh yeah, Anthony Brown.
Gordon Lewis on the team too. Calvin
Jones. The other AB. Let's just call him that. The other AB, who we literally saw on Thanksgiving. The other AB literally single-handedly was the reason the Raiders won. Like Derek Carr literally just whoever Anthony Brown was covering, that's who Derek Carr threw at, and he got him like 3 pass interference. He had 3 DPIs in that game.
Yep.
And these were not small DPIs. Like these were chunk DPIs.
and they were very obvious DPIs as well.
And they were
So
very
Dallas.
happy
So
in CPI.
we'll see what happens with Dallas as we move forward. That's been our NFC East What's Next show. We're coming back tomorrow. We're gonna do What's Next for the AFC East. Because we did have to change up a little bit of our plans. We planned on doing the AFC and the NFC North, but you know how things go with the NFL and their breaking news constantly. We may get up here tomorrow. We may be doing like a different Garoppolo show, so just bear with us. But yeah, I've been David Huffman right there. Jay Hopkins, and what we do
Hey,
here at the
and
Prime, my friend.
we got some we bring the hit and breaking news. Stop me if you heard this one, like stop me if this comes to a surprise to you. The Phoenix Suns have clinched the spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, they just beat the Heat. They just beat the Heat, and hey, the Bulls won. So
I know.
you
I had
you
it on.
get to feel better about that.
I don't.
A little bit better. I mean, at least they won.
A little
They
bit.
break the
A little
Vikings.
bit. They won. I mean, like it's.
Because again, they
I
should
think
win
we get.
by a lot.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think so.
you
I
know.
think so.
But yeah, we'll be back up here tomorrow and on Friday. So
AFC East.
out here,
AFC East.
world. You guys all have a good rest of your day, and I will see you guys
Hey,
tomorrow.
I'll talk to you in the group chat. I think we should do the AFC North and the NFC, especially the NFC West last because
Yeah,
those two teams went to the Super Bowl from those two
that's what I'm gonna
divisions.
do.
So okay, cool.
See you later, man. Peace out, brother.
All right.